welcome. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good to be here. Good to see all the good work that's being done by PAS. And I hope that the next 2 days are full of interactions, full of learning. It's obviously a two-way street. It's not going to be that somebody's going to come and stand over here and you're going to take notes and learn, but equally, the people who were over here will get an opportunity to learn from you through our interactions over the next 2 days. My colleague who works with me, Asif Aziz, asked me to join and share some of our thoughts about pivoting. I know pivoting is a relatively new word in our vernacular, popularized by the startups. And you're like, we keep on coming with a winnable, viable product, and if it doesn't work, if the growth is not there, you do something else, and pivot sounds like a nice word. But whether the word has been there or not, I think the concept has been there for a very long time. And right before coming over here, we were just chatting about Nokia, a company that started way back in the mid of 19th century. I think they started as a paper producing company, and then they went into electronics. And after that, they went into mobile phones, they went into network equipment, they went into personal computers. So they kept on pivoting, and eventually they didn't pivot, and they disappeared. So whether we looked at Nokia as an example of pivoting or not, the fact still remains that many businesses around the world, obviously, they go through different challenging phases. I'm happy to share a little bit about my journey and the journey of Jazz. Obviously, most of you know us as a telecom operator, but what is the digital operator? So the personal journey, I'll try to interweave it with the company journey. When I came back to Pakistan in 2015, I was working in Thailand with Telenor. So I got a call from, at that time, the CEO of the company, Jeffrey Hedberg. He asked me to come back, take on the role of Chief Marketing Officer or Chief Commercial Officer back at Mobilink. And for me, it was like, I've done Pakistan, I've done marketing, and Mobilink is not going anywhere. Telenor had just overtaken it as the leading telecom operator in Pakistan. So there was very little for me to actually get excited by, except that there was a turnaround challenge. And the first thing that we tried to do when I arrived back over here, I took a big shout that we're going to become a digital company. Like many other people, like, I really quite honestly did not have a clue what a digital company would be, or why did I say it, but just talking about the traditional things that we're going to put more towers and we're going to sell more SIMs just didn't sound exciting. And around the same time, there was a lot of talk about digital transformation, like digitalizing, et cetera, et cetera. So we took a big shout about Jazz will become a digital company, and then subsequently, Jazz will make Pakistan digital Pakistan. And we've been on that track, and with the passage of time, we've had a lot more clarity on what it actually means to be a digital company, and hopefully we'll have a dialogue around whether we are on the right track or not. But let me just start a little bit with where we are, Pakistan, in the digital landscape. I'm just going to flash some of the numbers. Some of them might be informative. Some of them you're already familiar with. But I think the important thing over here is that while we have made a lot of progress, we keep on talking about 190 million mobile phone subscribers. In many of the other developing countries, these numbers actually exceed the population of the country. So 80% penetration is a traditional way of looking at how good the digital infrastructure is, but we're still not providing basic digital communication services or basic telephony services to about 15% of Pakistanis. And that's a huge burden on me and my colleagues, because we think today everybody should have the benefit of internet. And obviously, the last 6-7 years, voice has been overtaken by data, the dumb bit byte component, but there's a lot more to it. But we feel that internet is a basic right for every individual, every citizen. Unfortunately, it's not part of the SDGs, but it enables close to about 8 out of the 17 SDGs. Let me get this right. Okay, Jazz, again, going back to, I started my career when I came back from the United States to a company called MobileLink. At that time, Motorola was a bigger name, so we used to call we were working at Motorola because the brick phones had just arrived. This was the third operator in Pakistan. There was already Paktel and Instaphone. And again, one of them pivoted. It's called Zong. The other one kind of disappeared. We, over the last 29 years, have stayed there. And over these years, have transformed from being just a monolithic voice communication company to being a digital operator. And when I talk about this pivoting, one of the metrics of looking at whether you've been able to successfully move into a new area is to see how much of your revenue comes from things that did not exist before. So in 2015, when I arrived over here, almost 8 years ago, almost about 98% of our total revenue was coming from what was voice. Of course, the data revolution in the 3G and 4G licenses had not been given, so there was going to be a shift. Now we have much higher data revenue compared to voice revenue, but that's not really the real thing that we created. In 2015 and 2016, we had an ambition to get into digital financial services. At that time, we had zero revenue coming from either banking or payments or anything related to that. Today, it is close to about 14%. So 14% of our revenue now comes from an area that just did not exist 8 years ago. So that's the pivoting component. Again, it does not necessarily rely on the digital component. It relies on a new industry also. Our ambition is to take that to about 20% in the next 3 years. So we have now created a completely new area altogether. Let's move forward, and I'll share with you our transition of the merger. So the merger took place in 2016. And Jazz, what you see Jazz today, is really a combination of two companies, Varid and MobileLink. And why Jazz? Because about 99% of our customers were using prepaid connections. They did not know what MobileLink was. You'd go to the streets and you say, well, I'm from MobileLink, and say, oh, kedi company hai ye? So Jazz was really the company that people knew. And also, as we went on to the digital ambition, we wanted to get away from anything that had a link, tele, or cell, because that was all legacy. We wanted to be like Yahoo. We wanted to have a different name. So Jazz was a lot more jazzier. And it was our name that we started about almost 18 years ago. So we'll move back to Jazz. But behind this change of brand and logo was also our ambition that we don't want to be only remembered as a company that connects people talking to one another. Certainly, we will continue to build towers. We will continue to sell SIMs. But that is our legacy and our proud present. But that is not our exciting future. It was important for us to redefine who we are. And this is a strategy wheel that we share within our company. And it's important that everybody within our own organization understands who we are and what we aspire to be. And if you see right at the bottom, we talk about strengthening the core. So the core will always be important. We will always be a company that does make towers, whether we make it ourselves or through another tower company. We will be selling SIMs, whether they're physical SIMs or eSIMs, but there would be a connectivity component to what we do. So that's going to be the core of what we do. We, like many other companies today, don't necessarily want to spend our capital building the infrastructure. We think there are better companies that can build and share infrastructure. We want our capital to be utilized in other areas, leading the fintech revolution, scaling our digital assets, and building new businesses. When I talk to audiences, including my own shareholders, it's really important that I keep them excited about what lies ahead. Where we are today, and just to give you an idea, starting from 2015 to where we are, we have almost tripled our revenue. So when I came here, I think at the end of 2014, our revenue was just about 100 billion rupees. This year, we will cross over 300 billion rupees. So it's a 3x increase in our revenue. And like I said, about 13% of that is coming from an area that just did not exist at all, which was banking, financial services, micro-lending, payments, Now we are going very aggressively on our cloud business. Asif Aziz, who's part of the association over here with you, heads our infrastructure business. And the thing, just like AWS redefined Amazon, I think in Pakistan, one of the biggest opportunities is to capture and contain the Pakistani data, which is evolving every single day, to make sure there are alternatives to AWS, Azure, Alibaba, that we have solutions over here for our hosting and analytics of those businesses. Let me spend a little bit more time on the core elements of our business. So like I said, whether we go from 2G, 3G, 4G, these technological evolutions will keep on happening. But a clear-cut component of our business will be that we will provide those essential connectivity services to our customers. We have today close to about 72 million customers. It's a growing population. And again, the ambition for Pakistan as a country should be that it's not just every individual who should have a smartphone, but every home that should have a broadband connection. So the connectivity layer is extremely important, and you can't really be in this space without making sure that the connectivity business is robust, the internet and broadband is expansive, it's affordable, it's reliable. So one of the things which I can't just get away with, no matter how exciting our future is, that I can't absolve myself of the responsibility of making sure that there is really good, robust connectivity in every single corner of Pakistan. We talked about asset light, and again, we have been blessed with not just leadership, but more importantly, 4G leadership, which is another word of saying who leads the broadband connectivity in Pakistan. The more exciting things really come from two of the brands over here that, one is over here, the one is on the other side on fintech, Tamasha. And since we're talking about advertising, we just, by the way, I know there were some older numbers over here, we crossed 14 million monthly active users on Tamasha. This is a video streaming platform. This is where we will be coming to you and your clients for advertising business. Everybody wants to engage with customers. The main principle in all social media and video platforms is increasing the number of customers and increasing the time they spend on your platform. Cricket continues to be our hero content in Pakistan. I think all of you know that over here. So the recent series, that the Asia Cup, on a Pakistan-India match, I think we had reached a concurrency of about 5 million customers. So 5 million customers were concurrently watching the match on Tamasha. Right? That's huge numbers. These are not numbers that we've seen on any platform here in Pakistan, but this is just the beginning. And again, over the course of perhaps a day or two, we will talk more about, like whether you go through advertising, viewership model, or a subscription model, whichever model generates the greater number of time. That time basically means the customer is leaving more and more digital fingerprints with you as a platform, which means that the platform can go back to the advertisers and monetize that time into quantifiable revenue. So very proud of our foray into video, into entertainment. Like I said, when we talk about us being a digital operator, what we're talking about is making sure that the evolving needs of the customers are captured by us as a company. They don't always have to be branded Jazz. They are telco agnostic. More than 40% of the customers of Tamasha come from the 3 other operators. So it's not really captive, and we didn't really want to call it Jazz TV. That's the learning that we had over passage of time. BIP is a messaging platform, still in development, but we're trying to create value addition and differentiation compared to WhatsApp. So there is hardly any reason for anybody to give up WhatsApp. But I think it's not always a question of whether Tamasha will take over YouTube or Netflix. It's about having alternatives. And can you have an alternative with a bit of differentiation, with a bit of local flavor, with a bit of local USPs? And that's what we're trying to do with BIP, where it's not going to be limited only to the ecosystem over there, but a landline could call BIP. That can't happen on WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is a garden or a ring fence garden, whereas BIP is going to be an open platform where customers from other operators can actually call in and the video connectivity is a lot more in high HD than compared to WhatsApp. Initial days on that, we have close to about 1 million customers. Jazz World, we're in the process of looking at, again, how do we make it a little bit more telco agnostic, is our self-servicing and engagement platform, or call it a super app. Again, close to about 14 million customers. And when I talk about these numbers, of course, the numbers sound big in every single context because we have close to about 72 million customers. The benefit of being in Pakistan is that you have population. And if you effectively market to them, all the numbers do become large. The challenge for us is how do we monetize them? A bit more on our pivoting thing. As I mentioned, 7 years ago, we hardly had any revenue. EasyPaisa already existed, and the basic use case was transferring money from one place to the other place, or the facility or the convenience of being able to pay bills. MobileLink, being a follower in that particular category, got a banking license. We have a bank called MobileLink Bank, and we came up with a product called MobiCash, which then eventually became JazzCash. And today, JazzCash is one of the biggest success stories in the country. It has more than 15 million customers on a monthly active users, close to about 43 million accounts. So if you look at it from a state bank perspective, the account stays there for a year. We are a lot more clinical in terms of our definition. So we say that, like, if a customer doesn't use us for a month, then we have lost it. So about 15 million customers on JazzCash. They not only transfer money from one place to the other or pay utility bills, which were the first cases, but today we are actually doing something much more important, which is micro-lending and productive micro-lending. Giving some immediate money to a whitelisted customer using our algorithms and credit scoring models to make sure that credit is easily available to people who need it, whether you're running a salon or a rickshaw company or a barber shop. Of course, there could be productive lending and unproductive. Our focus is on productive. So every day, we issue close to about 60,000 loans. Just think about it. 55,000 loans are issued within 5 seconds, up to 10,000 rupees. So huge lender in Pakistan, and that's almost close to about 45% of the total revenue. This business today is 30 billion rupees, 30 billion that just did not exist 7 years ago. So this is, again, the pivoting thing. Just like MobileLink realized there are no communications in Pakistan, we caught the wave at the right time. Today, unfortunately, there isn't really personal banking or consumer banking in Pakistan. After 75 years and 33 or 35 commercial banks, 75% of the adult population of Pakistan does not have access to any financial instrument. That's a huge opportunity. It's an embarrassing start, embarrassing statistic, but it's a huge opportunity for companies like JazzCash, the future digital licenses, but where we have an unfair advantage is not only the start that we have up to this point, but our distribution, our brand, and what we learn from the 75 million customers, and how we analyze that data to make sure that we can give the right loan product to the right customer at the right rate. As we move on, I talked about, and I'd like to spend a little bit more time on Garage. Garage is our cloud offering. Badal was already taken as a name, so we had to come up with something which was still somewhere in the similar category. One of the fastest growing businesses. Again, Pakistan, there was a time that people used to call oil producing countries. Pakistan is a data producing country. You have 240 million people, 190 million SIMs. They are at one stage or the other actually generating data every time they go onto any digital platform. This data, good or bad, very bluntly speaking, is going to be captured by two large companies which don't even have an office in Pakistan. You have Meta and you have Alphabet. So two people over here will be talking to one another, but the data will be captured by somebody else and the right ads will come. You will transact, but Pakistan doesn't benefit. It does benefit, that's an extreme statement. It does benefit, but we have left that opportunity. So, especially with financial services, and there are regulations around the world where the data, financial data, transactional financial data must stay in that country. So, we have the largest digital infrastructure whether we call it the cloud, infrastructure, data centers. We have a tier 3 data center. And all of the banks in Pakistan are our customers. The startups are our customers. And everything that's growing on top, the citizen services are our customers. This is, again, a business which is growing at literally 2x, 3x every year. And again, just like Jazz Cash, this is going to be a huge success in terms of numbers. It's already a success in terms of what it provides to the customers in Pakistan, mostly B2B or enterprise customers. But it's going to be a great story for our future. As you can see, when we talk about pivoting and transformation, some of these things are a natural adjacency of what we do. And some of them are completely new. So when we talk about ourselves, our refreshed identity, I actually don't like when people refer to us as a telco, because that's very monolithic, telecommunications, utility company getting two people to talk to each other. That is very passé, that's very 20th century. The world has changed to internet, and of course, most of us in this space recognize the importance of internet. But again, it wasn't good enough for us just to be a dumb bit pipe. So we don't compete with our competition when we talk about what is your, the price of your bundle, what is your speed. Of course, at some level it is important, but we are not going to try to fight in the red ocean. There is a lot of blue ocean over here. The last 10 minutes I spoke about some of the opportunities that we have already undertaken, from Jazz Cash to Tamasha to Jazz World, and the future ones which are in building stages like Garage. It is important when we talk about pivoting that you think about, is your growth stagnating? Are you in a fragmented environment? Is the profitability there? Is the regulation stifling you? And if some of those answers are yes, it's time to pivot. We embarked upon that journey not knowingly, but at the same time consciously about 8 years ago. Today, we'd like to call ourselves a digital operator because everything we do works through a smartphone, which I call the remote control to a person's life. If a person is going to be on that remote control, we need to have optionality for where that person goes. We don't want only to be the road, we want to be the destinations on that smartphone. And that's why the entertainment thing, the communication thing, the payments thing, the savings things, the health insurance thing, they all come on that. And that's our definition of a digital operator. We call ourselves, this strategy, DO 1440. 1440 means there are 1440 minutes in a day. And our ambition is that we should be relevant to our customers for each one of those minutes. For each one of those 1440 minutes, there should be a solution that we provide to our customers. And that's our journey of pivoting from a telco to a digital operator. I hope you found this conversation useful. I don't know what the format is. Happy to take questions, but that takes me to the end. Thank you very much.